are. 10-second countdown indeed. Here we go, guys. Here we go, boys. Coming into game number 3. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to game number 3. The final game. What could be the final game? The match point game here in the for Group 3 in round 1 of the Australian Open in this best of 5 series between Bloodshed and Goodstah. Now, obviously, Bloodshed taking the second game quite convincingly just before in the arena matchup as well. And what we have here is we have his home map. Let me turn chat off really quickly. Let's undo the fog of war. And yes, we have Arabia. This is what we want to see. Fantastic. This is Bloodshed's home map, and he has chosen Arabia. So let's introduce the man himself playing here to the west of the map in the blue trunks as the Huns. We do have Bloodshed, and he has chosen, as I say again, because I'm just so happy about it, Arabia for his map, or his home map rather. His opponent, the unfortunate, the unlucky, the completely likable, it seems. No, still no Hun war, but I'm okay. The Mongols are pretty much the Huns. Just have to build houses and shit like that. We have Goodstah playing in the red, and he is playing as the Mongols. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how this one does go down. Obviously, Mongols probably going to be going for that all-important and so quick and deadly scout rush, whereas the Huns have a little bit more versatility, or we see a little bit more versatility in their build orders for Arabian matchups. Let's have a quick look at their maps because that could potentially give us a little bit of a hint as to what each of these guys are going to be going for. So Bloodshed's map, nice wood in the back for him, can potentially get a huge chunk of a wall off potentially going across here, funneling in towards his town centre and keeping this wood nice and safe. What else has he got? Well, he's got his berries quite close to his town centre. Unfortunately, they are sitting at the bottom of a hill, which means that any archers, any ranged units, just anything really coming in here, going to get a nice attack bonus as Bloodshed does pull his villagers from harm's way. Main gold out to the front of his base, not quite what you want to see in an Arabian match. Obviously, if you lose control of the front of your base, you also lose control of your important precious gold, a stone pile to also towards the front of his base, as well as one of his secondary golds, and I believe his other secondary gold well out here on the front of his base. Not to mention his other stone as well. Now the stone, not so important for the Huns, at least in the early game, because you want to be going for scouts, you want to be going for cav archers or crossbows or knights. But as the game progresses and you want to get into the late game where you want to hold down areas of the map, then stone becomes important for getting up the castle. So all in all, I would say that Bloodshed's map is not looking too nice at all. The only saving grace for him is that he does have a nice safe back wood line, and we can see 3 villages having gone out to wood, indicative to me that he is going to be going for a scout rush. His opponent Goodstah over to the other end of the map. Well, let's have a look at what he's got going on for him. He does also have his main gold out on the front of his base. A little bit nasty for him because his villagers having to run back to the town centre are also going to suffer some downhill shots coming in on this little ledge, this little dip here, which is really nasty for him. Stone out to the front of his base as well, and a little bit more important for the Mongol player than the Hun player is the stone position, because obviously the late game army composition for Mongols, more often than not, you want to be getting those all important, all strong, all fantastic Mangudai out coming out from the castles means that these 2 stone locations here are going to be very important areas for the Mongol player to lock down. Goodstah getting off to a nice start here. Bit of an idle TC in terms of all of this, but the scout from Bloodshed also does go down now, which is a nice position for him to be in this early game. I did hear a boar lure coming in. Loom, I believe, has been done. Yep, Loom has been done for Goodstah, so he's not going to be able to be losing that at all. He has a wood line toward the back of his base. It's not a very nice wood line. It is quite small, which is very unfortunate for him. And he's got some other wood lines, like here, for example, that he can fall back to, but that's awfully far away from his town centre. Saving grace again, he does have deer really close to his mill, so potentially pushing and or taking them with his villagers around his mill. Put him in a really nice position there, since the Mongols do get that fantastic hunt bonus. Secondary gold out to the front of his base, and he does have a saving grace of a tertiary gold, or another gold pile that he can safely take from at the back. Now he's moved 6 villages over onto 1 lumber camp. I didn't see how many he had initially, but I can only imagine that we are going to be seeing scout war coming in here from both of these players. We can see Bloodshed up on 21 population, grabbing Loom now, and he's going to be able to click up on doing a 21 pop up scout rush. Now he hasn't clicked up with a 21 population up time, but that's totally fine because he's still going to be up faster than his opponent, the Mongol player, which is not something to scoff at all. Mongols usually going up on much lower population, much quicker than any other player or any other civilizations in that respect. And we have two villages going forward. Can only imagine that's to be building a barrack. Yeah, okay, good. So it is building a barracks. Hasn't quite split his lumber camp yet. It's not nice. He's obviously not watched my Scout Rush build order, but a split lumber camp would be really nice for him. But he's up to the feudal age. I feel like he's in a really commanding and confident position for the time being. Now, what can we say from Goodstah? Well, reminiscent of his first game, he's going ahead and he's getting a nice bit of wall off. That wolf is not getting in, so we can't see any T90 woo-woo-woos in the chat, because that wolf is not going to be able to get in here and start attacking down these villages. Goodstah up to the feudal age now on 23 population, quite a bit later than his opponent, but at least he is splitting his lumber camp, and he's going for a very dangerous lumber camp well out to the front of his base, with no safety in sight. Should the game progress late enough, he can plonk a TC here and keep himself nice and safe in that respect, but not really sure whether the game's going to go that late, to be completely honest with you, although it looks like he wants it to because he's walling up towards the western side of his base. Now we can see the stable coming up for the Hun player Bloodshed here. Oh, sorry, Bloodshed rather. And let's see how many scouts he's going to go for. Let's see what his scout rush build order is like. He's seeding a lot of farms, which is nice to see for him. Villagers now being sent, I believe, to Straggler Trees. I say that as he sends another one over to this other his initial lumber camp. But here we go, scouts coming out, and the walls I don't think are going to be locked up in time for his opponent. This is a hefty wall off that that Goodstah actually needs to do. He's not completed the wall off out to this side of his base. He's not completed the wall off out to this side of his base. Mother Nature guy getting involved as well. See, no one likes your walling. Even the wolves don't like your walling, so you should probably just stop with the walling. But we can see scouts now being queued up, the feudal age having been researched now for Goodstah, and what is his plan of attack as the Mongols. Let's switch over to his point of view and see what funky business he's actually going for here. Well, he's going for a mining camp, which is fair enough. Maybe he wants to transition to archers. We can see an archery range coming up now as well, and it could put him in a nice position if he can defend from the initial scout rush. Obviously, his scouting is pretty poor. He doesn't know literally even where his opponent is, but he can guess based on the fact that he sees a stone and a gold pile in very close vicinity to each other, but he doesn't know what his opponent is planning in terms of military, although now he is. Yeah, I think Pyro's actually got the right idea in the chat. Just wall your opponent in, keep your opponent nice and safe. It seems like these guys are pretty good friends. Keeping your opponent nice and safe would be a very noble thing to do. So we can see that the scouts here, there was a hole in this wall. The scouts here from Blood. Come back when I'm not a bot. I'm not a bot. I don't know what you're talking about. I hope I'm not a bot. I'm not dropping any frames. I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully it sorts itself out. Let me know if it's sorted itself out yet. It should be okay. I don't think I've changed any settings inadvertently. Oh, to Octibot. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about me going robot voice. Okay, cool. So we can see that the scouts now from Bloodshed are moving into the wood line of his opponent, and the quick walls on the wood line still not getting up in time. He's doing the right thing though. Goodstah here. He's taking those all-important deer for the Mongols, but this is going to really hurt his economy. We can see that 24 villages to 30 already, and this has been... Stream's fine. Okay, cool. Cheers, man. And we can see that this has been more or less the same story over and over again in these sets of matches, where the villager lead is so heavily in favor of Bloodshed quite often, or quite a lot of the time. More scouts now being thrown into the mix for him as well, and we can't see any archers. Oh, now we can see some archers being queued up for Goodstah here, but he has suffered quite a heavy blow to his economy, a lot of wood villages having gone down, a lot of idle time being inflicted on his economy as well. He's got enough villagers to keep the archers coming out of one range, but should the archers come out of that one range, they're just going to get picked off by these scouts nice and quick and easily. So there's not really too much else to say at the moment. The score lead quite heavily in favour of Bloodshed at this time. His economy is starting to look quite nice back at home. He is walling up, more or less doing the wall that I anticipated, funneling towards his town centre and keeping this backside, this wood production, or this wood sort of area of his economy nice and safe, as we can see 3 archery ranges now coming up. Oh, sorry, 2 archery ranges and a blacksmith coming up back at home for Bloodshed. No, Bloodshed rather. So he's going to start the archer production with Wheelbarrow coming in, and he's going to be able to send archers over to his opponent, start picking off the villagers in the wood line. These walls are not going to save you for too long, my friend. They're not going to save you forever, and neither will these spearmen once the archers from your Hun opponent do start coming out as well. So at this stage, I don't really see any advantage for Goodstah. I can just see that this is going to be not a cakewalk, but not the most difficult match that Bloodshed will ever have played in his life. If I'm not being too rude in saying that, and we can Goodstah not quite happy with the quick walling. More villagers going to be going down quite easily in this. Quite easily in this little massacre here of from the scouts from Bloodshed, and complaining that his hotkeys potentially not responding, and that could also be the fact that the hotkeys respond differently on Voobly compared to HD. Maybe that's what he's referring to. Archers now moving across the map from the Mongol player Goodstah, getting completely wiped out with no patrol being inflicted there as he moves across the map, and the GG being called. So the games here gonna go in favor, I believe, of Bloodshed. Oh, that's not what we ever want to see. The game's going here in favor of Bloodshed. And there we have it. Ladies and gentlemen, Bloodshed taking that set of matches 3-0, and the rest of the games do not have to be played once the best of 5 has been decided. It will be up to them whether or not they want to play the rest of them. It would be fun if they did, but for the time being, well played to Bloodshed. Well played to Goodstah. Thank you very much.